So, I might be sniffing today. I'm really full of hay fever. So, this is my look at this week's comics. So, quite a chunky pile. So, yeah, let's get into it. So, first up is one that I thought I'd try. I always like to try a new number one. And it's a writer who's got quite a bit of buzz about him at Marvel, Cody Ziegler. But the artist is Roge Antonio. Not got a clue. So, this is the new Deadpool. Cover's very misleading. None of this happens. Um, the artwork's serviceable, it's dynamic, but it's confusing. Say, for example, they're trying to do a bit of a Bruno Redondo, but it's like Bruno Redondo without the skills. He's got not just got an eye for fine detail, but he's got an eye for flow, how the story flows, and this artist hasn't. But props to them for trying it. Let me just see if I can find it now. As is always the case when you try and find something. Here we go. So he's trying to do a bit of a Redondo thing, you know, where Redondo does like that chase thing. So this, if you're reading it, your eye automatically drops down and goes that way, and then drops. But this is meant to go like this, but it doesn't guide you well. Pardon me. So again, that pulls you out a little bit. But like I said, the artwork for what's meant to be somebody who's really pushing, get a better artist, Marvel. This is meant to be like one of your A-list characters because of the film coming out, etc. They're doing it great with the miniseries. Joe Kelly, top-rated writer, and Adam Kubert, fantastic artist. Do something like that, Marvel. Get two artists on it. Do one block by one artist, one block by another artist. You know, 3 or 4 issue story arcs. But the story is your typical Deadpool story. The annoying thing is, if you've not read the previous Deadpool story, the 10 issue one by Alyssa Wong, you won't have a clue what's going on. I have no idea who this red symbiote dog is, who's his daughter. It's just messy. Story, you've seen it all before. It's your standard Deadpool one, get a few clips in. You try to bring a bit of substance to it, but it didn't feel great. The villain, and then it doesn't let you know that this bit is tagged onto the story, so it kind of throws you a bit because there's an ad, and then it says to be continued, but then there's an ad at the back, and then it's a 3-page story. So if you do buy it, look out for that. It's just mid, 5 out of 10. Not getting again. That's it. I've tried Deadpool now. So next up, another Marvel comic. I'm not going to bash this one. I'm going to sing its praises. And it's one of the retro titles, what they sometimes churn out. And this is Spider-Man: Shadow of the Green Goblin. I went for the alternate cover by Dan Panosian, which is referencing this classic cover. The Green Goblin doesn't appear in this. This is set when Spidey has first become Spider-Man, so he's only about 15 years of age. And Harry Osborn's around, but he's not the Green Goblin. Sorry, not is his dad the one who's the Green Goblin anyway? Osborn, whatever it is. Norman Osborn. Sorry, he's not the Green Goblin yet. But it's leading up to that. But there's been like there's a prototype Goblin, and it's this red guy here who they've experimented on at Osborn Industries, wherever it is that he works. And so it's about this fight between him and Spider-Man. Spider-Man's still reeling from the death of Uncle Ben. He's still getting used to his strength, and this is freaking him out a bit. He's trying not to hurt people, and the artwork is really nice. It's this like blend of classic and new, right down to the fashions as well. It could be it's pretty timeless. But what sells it for me is J.M. DeMatteis on a Spidey title, not Ben Reilly, but Peter Parker. This, Marvel, is how you write a Spider-Man comic. It annoys me. It's meant to be a 4-issue comic, I think, but it doesn't give you any indication. It's $4.99, but it's a chunky first issue, and I think the next issue is going to be $3.99. But yeah, it's a masterclass in how to write Spider-Man. Get rid, Marvel, of the current team on Spider-Man. Get rid of Zeb Wells. Get rid of J.J. Get this team, the regular Spider comic. It would bring your fans back. I would give this an 8.5 out of 10. This was going to be my comic of the week, but there's certain amounts of comics that have come out this week, so unfortunately, very high quality, but there's other good stuff out there. So yeah, I do recommend Spider-Man: Shadow of the Green Goblin. I was going to say Shadow of the Bat then. 1 second, just gonna blow my nose. Okay. Next up, it's one that came out, I think, either last week or the week before, but my shop was short changed, so I didn't get some of the comics last week. So it's coming this week. They put it aside for me. Nice cardstock cover, $2.99 comic, and it's Sam and Twitch by Tom McFarlane, Simone Kudransky, who did Something Epic, which is apparently meant to be really good. Artwork is really, really standout gorgeous. One thing I really hate about this comic though, the lettering. When there's a conversation going on a crowded pitch panel, you've not got a clue who's speaking because there's no speech bubbles. It's all these silly little lines, and not all the time it goes to the right person. So it pulls your ass a bit, that does. And it's a very cliche. It's like 16 and 17 pages of just introducing his characters to Sam and Twitch again, but in a very clunky way because it's Tom McFarlane writing, and he's not even a Stan Lee writing style. He's very clunky. His comics work best when he's got somebody doing the script for him, and this is what's needed on here. But there's some great layouts, and there's enough charm to it to pull me in to give it a go for the next few issues. When it's $2.99, you kind of forgive some of the weaknesses to it. Like I said, the only thing that I really hate is the lettering. Story, it's cliched. It's everything you've seen in the detective serial killer comic or film. Shades of Seven, Shades of Silence of the Lambs, shades of Homicide Life on the Street, with all the cliche cop dialogue as well. If it just had better dialogue, it'd be a real contender for a really strong comic series. As it is, it's very average, but it's fun. Gorgeous artwork, and it's only $2.99. Cardstock cover, great art. So I'd give this 6.5, 7 out of 10, and because it's so cheap here, I'm going to carry on with it. So Sam and Twitch, Case Files. And then this again I was shorted last week, but it's coming this week. They got me a copy. Six Fingers #2 by Dan Watters and Sumit Kumar. Artwork in this comic is beautiful, really, really nice. I think Sumit Kumar did some issues of the visual for Ram V. So this is the one that ties in with The One Hand, the series by Ram V. Whereas the Ram V one focuses on detective looking at the case, this focuses on this guy here, the could-be serial killer. It's great. Dan Watters is up there with Ram V for this. Both really imaginative, literate writers, and the art is really nice from the artwork to the colouring. Everything works. It's a perfect blend of futuristic and neo-noir storytelling, and you kind of feel for the. He's meant to be the big bad, but you kind of feel for him as well. He doesn't know what's going on with him. He doesn't know what's real and what's pretend. He doesn't know if it's the drugs that he's on to quell his mutation, because this is where he's got the sixth finger from. He fell into, in the first issue, he fell into this contaminated water. But he starts taking his pills, so he doesn't know what's real and what's not. And yeah, it's great. I don't want to go too deep into it because I highly recommend you hunt out both these series. They are bringing out second printings of the first issue, so you can still order them. Yeah, 9 out of 10. Really, really strong comic carrying. And talked about The One Hand. This is #3. Again, by Ram V and Lawrence Campbell. Gorgeous atmospheric art. As I've said before, I couldn't compare this to a comic, but I could compare it to film. It's Blade Runner in comic form, basically. Even down to the way that there's what do they call them? Cogs here, I think, but they're like artificial humans. So like replicants, that kind of vibe. And what I like about this, the main character, the detective, he's less likable than the serial killer. I actually like the serial killer as a person. I cannot stand this guy, but it doesn't matter. It's a compelling story, and you're not meant to like him really. He's a fuck up basically, but he's good at his job. He's got doubts and insecurities. He can't maintain a normal relationship with another human being. He's got to rely on these replicants, and so there's this tragic kind of like sad, lonely love story tied in. What he's got feelings for this cog, for this replicant, who basically is programmed to be an escort, while he's trying to solve this case of the Six Fingers, the serial killer who's emerged again, but he's already imprisoned the original Six Fingers killer, so he's wondering what's going on here. And he visits the original Six Finger killer in here, and something happens, and that's all I can say because there's so many like wow moments. That's why I'm not showing you much of the artwork because there's a lot of real punch you in the gut kind of moments in this, and everything is turning to shit for the detective, but in a really compelling, interesting way. It's Ram V up in the game again, and what you can do with comics. 9 out of 10 again. It's such a strong week this week. Saying that, we do a dip a bit with Batman 145 Dark Presence. Artwork's beautiful. It's Jorge Jimenez. Art writing's okay, but I'm getting so tired with these long, windy stories. What Ram V is doing, I'm tired of Zeranar. I just want I just want a good detective story. This has been going like this all the way through, and I've got Joker fatigue. So yeah, I just don't know. It doesn't feel like a Batman story still. It's a lot of clever ideas that he throws against one, and a lot of them aren't sticking and just sliding down again. Um, but I'll keep coming back, and I'll keep guessing a bit like, the art keeps pulling me back. The art is very nice. And the story's okay, but I just want this. I want more. It just leaves me very frustrated. So yeah, artwork 8.5 out of 10. Story 7, could be 6.5, 7 out of 10. Not my favourite Batman comic, but I'm so invested in the Batman title. I have been since James Tannion came on. That I still guess it. So there we go. I'm a hypocrite. And next up, number 8, completely changed the pace. Birds of Prey. This is one of the best team books around. Even the guest artist up the game in this comic. The art in this is by Javier Pina and David Lopez. Some of this it's just so good. It's a two-parter, but it naturally flows into the opening segue for the next story arc. So this is where they go undercover at a fashion show for Vixen. Big Barter. Barter doing what Big Barter does best. I mean, they've got the best line in a comic of all month. It's Big Barter says, it's the beefcake, mind control beefcake, what will they think of next? So she's basically holding these beefcake models up with her arm, and they say it could be the clothes. It could be the clothes. So she thinks that they mean the clothes that she's wearing. So she takes all her clothes off, but they censor it with a big Barter head. It's just fun. The artwork is beautiful. The colouring in this. I know people have been hating the colouring, but I love the colouring. And this comic has the best fight scenes in a comic. It's pages and pages of fight scenes, but you don't read. It doesn't feel like you're reading a fight. Reading a comic just full of fight scenes, because it just flows so well. And there's so much humour, and the artwork is so kinetic. I think the original artist is coming back next week, but I don't care when the guest artists are this good. And Kelly Thompson is having a blast with this. She's getting up there with Gail Simone for my favourite female writer, or favourite writer. Fuck the genders. One of my favourite writers now for a good all-action comic. Again, 9 out of 10. Go and buy this. I think they're collecting the first story arc in a book. Might have done already. It's such a fun theme book. And then these are going to be 9.5, 10 out of 10s, and I couldn't decide on which one I like best. I'm going to give this 10 out of 10 for a company launch, 10 out of 10 for presentation, 10 out of 10 for value for money, 10 out of 10 for artwork and colouring, and 10 out of 10 for storytelling. So it's the Unnamed Universe, or the Ghost Machine Universe, which was created by Jeff Johns and Gary Frank initially, and then other creators have come on. So we've got Redcoat, and this is a chunky $3.99 book, about 40 pages of story. Ooh, that's my chicken nuggets. And artwork by Brian Hitch and Andrew Curry on inks, and Brad Anson on colouring. This, I don't think it's the strongest one of the books, but I really enjoyed this because it's like a historical with shades of sci-fi. It's a historical romp, and it's this guy who's basically, it's a bit like if the Eternal Warrior, was was a bit of a doofus. And it's just fantastic. The artwork is beautiful. I just had a big grin on my face all the way through. I love the character. He's so dislikable. He's a complete rogue, complete knob, basically. And that's what makes him charming. And yeah, I'm invested for the next issue. And this character is. I was grinning from ear to ear when I realised who this character was. Brilliant introduction. Yeah, like I said, the whole. I'm not. I can't give each either of any of them marks. I just say for a launch and for a new series of titles, Ghost Machine as a company gets 10 out of 10. Do buy them. Very well worth buying. Don't wait for the trades because the books are cardstock, very very thick paper, no pages wasted, and you get a lot of story and art for your money. Then we've got Geiger coming back. This carries on from where the miniseries left off and the short story in the one shots. So if you've been reading Geiger, you know what this is about. It's post-apocalyptic superheroes, basically. It's like a post-apocalyptic western. So if you read Geiger originally, you know that the bomb drops and he somehow survived and became radioactive. So he uses his radioactive bars to quell it, and when he pulls them out, he becomes Geiger, the nuclear man. But it's got all this. What I love a good apocalyptic storyline. So it uses those tropes like people becoming knights and stuff like that, trying to reinvent society again. And the artwork by Gary Frank is a delight. He's one of my favourite artists. And him and Jeff Johns together are an unbeatable force. What I like about it as well, it gives you little fact files at the end of the different characters. Yeah, just a natural, great, strong progression. Again, like I said, I'm not marking these as a company. They're all getting 10 out of 10. Definitely carrying on with them. And a really thick book is Rook Exodus by Jason Fabok on storytelling and art, and Jeff Johns on scripting, Brad Anderson on colouring again. This has got the most gorgeous art in a comic I've seen in a long time. There's so much detail. This took me the longest to read because I was just looking at the art, drooling at the art. It's from the little things like far away scenes like this to, let me just find it, big spread pages of a city that's just gone to ruin. Just fantastic. So basically, with this one, this is a sci-fi one. I don't think this doesn't have ties to the Unnamed. This is a sci-fi one where Earth basically it's just become so violent and it's just falling apart. So lots of people just flee to this other world called Exodus, which is where this guy lives now. He goes there, and they're all given these special helmets, which are like talismanic helmets where they can control a certain animal. So he is called Rook because he controls the crows. He's got a friend called Swine who controls the pigs, and I love his friend. That's his friend. But then there's so he controls these big, gigantic, mutated hogs. But there's other animals in, and I don't want to give too much away because there's some really jaw-dropping moments at the end, and I cannot wait for the next issue to find out who survives. But the world building in this is amazing. I know I've used these as a comparison before, but for me, this feels like a hybrid of a real top-level 2000 AD story and a humanoid story. It feels very European. It doesn't feel American at all, which I mean that's the highest compliment because I think European storytelling and people from 2000 AD who moved on to America know how to world build much more than American writers do because they don't look at comics from a superhero standpoint. They deal with other genres. Superheroes are way down on the list of preferences for British and European writers, and that's what I feel with this. It's just a perfect science fiction tale, and again, all three of these books. Oh yeah, there's a spread cover on that. All three of these books, from the paper stock to the colouring, to the smell, to the cardstock covers, to the artwork, to the writing, to the value for money. All three of these from Ghost Machine get 10 out of 10. If you've not got these comics, do buy them because they are some of the best comics I've read in a very long time. But this week has been a strong week. To say that there's only one turd really in the bunch is great, and it's a one issue. I was just buying it to try it, see if I'd like it, and I didn't. So, but it'll appeal to somebody who's a die-hard Deadpool fan. So it's not bad. It's just not for me. But the rest, I mean, that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 out of 10 ain't bad. So, comics at the moment are very exciting. Comics all the time are exciting. You just need to know where to look and who to follow. So yeah, great week. Do support your local comic shops. Do support each other. Get rid of negativity in the comic community. With the recent things that have happened with the Ed Pisco situation, it affects me mentally quite badly, because it brought up a lot of feelings I had years and years ago. Of course, my self-harm, which thankfully I never went that route, and I'm here today. But it's the way that a lot of comics websites, the right-wing Comicsgate ones in particular, latched onto those and used it for their own monetary ends, and basically flipping the scripts and basically doing witch hunting Ed Piscott, and now they're saying, oh, these people picking on him. And I'm thinking, you were the ones who were doing it. This is what I mean. We need to get rid of all this toxicity from comic fandom and comic discussion channels, and just bring positivity back to these channels. So please, 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 let's just be good to each other. Let's just, if we don't like something, shut up. Move on. Focus on what you love, focus on what you like, and let's just lift each other up and be much more positive as a community, because this should not have happened. It should not. I'm still processing it, and I'm sure a lot of people are, especially people who are more involved than me. I'm just a fan. But there's people who've lost a loved one. There's people who will now having fingers pointed at them when they were right to call something else. It just became ugly. So let's just get rid of negativity and turn to positivity for comics, because it's a fun hobby, and that's what we should be focusing on. Okay, but anyway, as I was saying, I might be doing another episode this week, but I don't know yet. Depends how I feel. Depends how my nose is with the hay fever. But I want to do some more 2000 AD centric ones, so I might do it today, or I might just do one in the midweek where I'm do like a monthly overview of current 2000 AD comics. So you'll get I'll flick through the current 4 issues of a run, and same with Judge Dredd. Okay, but I'll see how I feel today. If I'm not up to it today, I might do it later on in the week. Okay, bye. Bye-bye.